Hello and welcome, Crosstown Gamer here, and today we're going to continue our playthrough of A Distant Plane, Insurgency in Afghanistan. If you've been keeping up with me up to this point, I congratulate you. It's been a long road so far, and we've still got quite a ways to go. I do want to thank and call out a few individuals. I don't have their names handy. I would love to call them out more formally than this, but a special thanks to all of those people in the comments that have been pointing out the small little rules, details that I haven't been picking up on or I've just been overlooking. It is difficult to do this game on camera and make sure that there's 100% accuracy, but that's definitely not an excuse for some of the things that I've been missing out on. So I appreciate it, and please continue to do so. So hopefully I will not forget to do those things in the future. And with that, let's go ahead and get started. We are eligible as the coalition, and the Taliban is eligible. The next card is Manpad's Scare, and the Taliban are up first. Now, this is a momentum card, so the flowchart for the bots has some considerations for that. So if the current or next card's a capability, well, that's not true. The current card's a momentum event, then see 8.1 momentum in the rules. And that just says that the insurgent non-player factions will take the momentum cards and they will play the shaded version of them. Unless the next card is a propaganda card. And since it's not, then they will go ahead and opt to do this. So momentum is very similar to capabilities, except it only lasts for the current campaign or until the next propaganda card. So it says until prop, Taliban may cancel, count as executed, any airlift or airstrike for -1 resource. So if we decide to airstrike them or do an airlift, they can cancel that for 1 resource. And just a little note, because they are going to take this event, there are little chits, I think, for maybe not for the momentums, but definitely for the capabilities that you can find. I like to just pull the card out to the side so that the rules are all there, rather than just these little tiny summaries. But that just makes it a little easier for me. So I'm going to do the same with this. I'm going to pull this off to the side, and hopefully I don't forget to put it back in the discard pile at the next propaganda card. But one other thing to note is on the flowchart, there's actually a little momentum capability box for the various things that you might find. So for accidental guerrillas, for example, as a little priority, they have that capability, that kind of thing. So for Manpad's Scare, they're gonna roll one. They're gonna roll 1d6, and on a 1 to 4, they're gonna cancel the airlift or airstrike, whatever we're doing, until their resources are less than 5. So at 4 or fewer resources, they won't choose to execute the momentum event, but on a 1 through 4, if with greater than 5 resources, they will cancel that. So they're going to take this card. I'm going to put it off to the side and hopefully not forget about it. And note that we are up next eligible. I know now the previous card's up there. So we get to go now. And we can do a full turn. And I realize also one of the things that was pointed out was that I didn't have to pay all 3 resources of the governments, because for whatever we were doing last time along the locks, they have to pay 1 resource per anytime they encounter insurgents. And I paid for this segment here when I could have gone through the town and then into it directly. So I didn't need to pay the 1 resource, so I guess I will do that to kind of retroactively fix that. But I don't think anything that we can do costs only 1 resource anyway, so it's not going to really help us that much. So 3 government resources per space where cubes are placed for a train. However, and there's not really a lot of government cubes to place anymore anyway, but if we choose Kabul, we can transfer 3 patronage to government resources. That might be valuable, in that we would get the ability to do something next turn at least, or have the government do something. Patrol doesn't cost anything. It moves coalition troops onto lines of communication and activates them there. And if desired, we can free assault on one of the lines of communication. So that might be beneficial to, get some guys off of the locks. Even down here, even though we wouldn't activate them, we get the free assault, and we've already got some cubes on there. So here's another good spot because it's a high value area. So that's one option as well, patrol. Sweep would be fine because we only have to pay per government move destination. But the thing about sweep is you want to follow it up with an assault next time, and there's no resources to follow that up with. So that's looking like something we can't really do. And then this costs 3 resources. So it's either going to be a patrol or a train that we do. And I like the idea of the train operation because we'd be transferring 3 patronage to the government resources, and the government is only 1 away from victory, unless I keep forgetting to do this. I need to recount everything. But yeah, transferring the patronage down and then the resources up would make it so that their score goes down, and it makes it so they're not just going to outright win. So I think that's what we'll do. We can... we're not going to place any cubes. We can buy civic actions, but we don't have any resources. And then we're only going to select Kabul for this so that we can transfer 3 resources, 1, 2, 3, from the patronage, 1, 2, 3. And then this goes down, 1, 2, 3. I don't know if it's the best maneuver, but it's what we're dealing with right now. Patrol might have been cool too. Maybe next time. So surge or airlift. Now, it's worth noting that the Taliban can cancel our airlift if we did an airlift. So we might want to surge. This would allow us to get more aid. And we can move any coalition pieces as desired among 3 spaces and available. Yeah, I kind of like that too, because that will directly help us and could directly hurt some other factions. So the surge is actually looking good. Just in case, let's look at our stuff up here. That's airstrike, sweep operation, and airstrike. Okay, so none of our capabilities are going to be a factor here. And then training. Oh, I think I might have... Yeah, I haven't been doing this the entire time. Whoops. Jeez. Okay, well, going forward, I'll try to remember that night letters... It's the train operation usually places up to 6 cubes, and we're limited to 4. Completes an assault. That's fine. And Taliban ambush. Yeah. So we did the train, and we transferred the 3 resources, and we didn't place more than 4 cubes in a space, so we're fine there. And then I think we are going to do this surge. So we get, if desired, add a die roll total between aid and warlord resources. So since it implies kind of this bidirectional thing, I can add a die roll to aid, subtracting from warlord resources, or I can add warlord resources, subtracting from aid. I think I would only do that in the case where the government was poised to win, and the warlords could do something about it. But we don't want the warlords to get more money, so let's do this first. We get to roll. I guess I'll do it over here. A 2. So it's only a 2, but we get 2 plus 2 aid, and the warlords get minus 2. Oh, that's the wrong thing. Where are the warlords? 1, 2. Minus 2 resources. And then we get to move any coalition pieces among 3 spaces, Kabul or coin control provinces, and available. And if you recall, our win condition is based on that. We like to have a presence on the map because that prevents the Taliban from doing a lot of stuff, I think. Or maybe it was the warlords. But like this in Oruzgan, Nobody's here. and we don't care about control. So we could actually get rid of this guy or move him to a different location on the map. And then this would no longer be coin controlled. So I think we're going to do that. So we'll take this away. And that will drop the government down at least one more point for coin control. And now we get to decide, do we want to put it in the available forces box and bump up our numbers here? Or do we want to... Well, how close are they to... Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 to 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we could actually spare another cube. And then, so we can go to some coin-controlled places if we wanted to. But so that was 2 spots. I'm looking at a third potential spot to put these, and I don't think there's really anywhere where the government is and we aren't. That would be kind of where I would look. I guess there's up here. I don't think we really need a presence up there, but just in case, we'll put 1. So there's 3 spaces that we picked, and the available box. We are going to put one of these up here to just get us an extra point. So yeah, the reason I think it's helpful to have a cube in every coin controlled spot, just to prevent some insurgent shenanigans. So that was our special activity. Let's move right along and adjust our eligibility. We will play the next card, which is Errant Airstrike. And the card after that is Poppy Crop Failure. Oh, Poppy Crop. Okay, so Taliban up first, we're up second, and government is the first eligible faction. And let's see what they end up doing. So, no for the first 2 things. They'll play the unshaded part if it shifts patronage, aid, resources, coin control, places cubes, basically does anything good for the government. Let's see. Coalition executes free surge, ignoring control, and without removing to available. Oh, then that's what we just did, was a surge. That's funny. I should have looked at that and like passed and then done it for free. No, that wouldn't have worked. Yeah, never mind. But it doesn't give the government any free operations or special activities, and it's not really shifting any of their other stuff. It will shift government resources, potentially, but it would shift them down. No, not government resources, government patronage or something. No, aid. It would be aid. So no, it's not going to really do anything related to these. They are at 4 resources now, so they're not going to pass. Let's see what they do. Would an assault add +2 coin control or remove Taliban bases? I'm trying to think if the government is in any locations right now that aren't coin controlled. And I don't think so. I think everywhere where they are has coin control, which means that it won't add +2 coin control. But can we remove a Taliban base? That's a different story. So likely locations for that, there's only a few places with Taliban bases here, which there's no government pieces there anyway. Here, which has one, but it's protected by these underground guerrillas. And then up here, potentially, if you can get rid of all 3 of those, then you could also get rid of that base. So let's look at the assault. I think it's based on the number of troops, in which case they would not be able to remove the base. But let's look. Oh, and it's a mountain. Yeah. It's mountain square, so you'd only remove 1 piece per 3 government troops. Yeah, and the coalition don't even get to do that. One active guerrilla on our base per 2. Yeah. So that's a no. They would only be able to. They wouldn't be able to remove anything there because they don't have 3 troops. Well, sucks for them. Okay, so that's a no. 2+ player pieces on locks. I don't think we're on any. No. Or Taliban exceeds enemies on the 3 or the 4. That's a no. The government has 2 police on both those, and the Taliban only has 1. What are they called? Guerrilla on the 3. 10+ troops available, no. Or train would place a base, no, because they're out of bases to place. So they're going to try to sweep in a max of 2 spaces. They're not going to remove the last troop from a lock or a government base, and they're going to do this losing no control. So they want to get up to 4 troops or more if needed to add coin control to the highest 1+ pop space with no coin base. Sweep evenly from random sources. Okay. For the lowest cost, paying 1 resource per used lock with the enemy. I think this is exactly what we did last time. So yeah, 1 resource to warlords per entered lock with any guerrilla. Now that's an interesting question, and I don't think. Oh, it doesn't matter anyway. Never mind. What I was trying to say very inarticulately is, I wonder, would it cost? I don't think it would cost anything to move troops from here into here, even though it's crossing a lock that has guerrillas on it. Actually, I'd have to read the adjacency stuff again. I'm pretty sure it's like these are separated by a lock, so you do technically. Well, I don't know. But it doesn't matter because this is a 0 population space anyway. They would want to go here to add coin control. But activate 1 guerrilla per cube there, so in the destination space. And one more time, let's look at the qualification. Get 4 to add coin control to. Yeah. So I don't think they're really going to be able to do this, because we got to remove 0 coin control, and they have like minimum. We've got like minimum quorum here, 5 against 6. So you can't move from there. If you remove from up here, you could get 4. Oh, but it's only troops. So you could you could move 3 away, and it would still not give coin control up there, even if you pulled from other sources, because again, we can't pull from here. Maybe down here, there's 4, and they would, yeah, okay. So, but they want to add coin control, meaning the only really, but they can go on the locks, so they could go up here. They could, and they could pull from here to get there too. That would be like even distribute, and here. They want to sweep evenly from various sources. And just to make sure, yeah, I think that's the highest population space that has no coin control that they'd be able to do. Like maybe here, but pulling from there and there, but I don't think so. Okay, so they're going to go here, and they're going to go from evenly, so 1, 2, 3, 4 versus 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So they don't want to move anything from there. Oh, this has... Is it only underground? No. Any lock with guerrillas. Oh, that sucks. So, yeah, I am going to have to look it up. I don't think that counts, though. And it's on the other side of a town, so this is a different lock. So from here, they can get 1. From here, they can get 1. From here, they can get 1, but it will cost a resource. And so it'll cost a resource. And then randomly, it said randomly from, for lowest cost. So randomly then from these two sources. And so we'll do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 3. So from here. Okay. So they effectively regained control of that sector that we took our guy out of. And that gives them one more coin control. And that was the first. They get one more space to do this in. And they're going to sweep in place where activating the most pieces of the player. That's irrelevant. Then the Taliban, then the warlords. So here they could activate 2. It's not a mountain space, so it's 1 per every. Actually, I think it's 1 per every cube. Yeah, 1 gorilla per cube. So they could activate 2 things here. They could activate 3 things here by sweeping in place. So I think the 3 is going to be the most. And activating the most pieces of the Taliban. So here's where it gets a little tricky, though, in the wording, because activating the most pieces total would be in Kabul, because there's 3 things you can sweep there. I don't think it has to be a single target. I think you can target multiple factions. Activate 1 gorilla per cube there. So total, Kabul is the most, but the most Taliban pieces, it would be in, where is this? Paktika. I think it didn't say total. It says the most pieces of the Taliban, and that's the first priority in there, letter A. So I think they would do it here. So they can sweep in place, meaning they don't move around at all, and they activate 1 per cube there. So they're leaving it ripe for the pickings. There's just enough resources to be able to assault in that zone, which would be pretty sweet. So that was their operation. And now they will transport from 1 space to 1 space. Do not move the last troop from a lock or a government base. Lose no coin control. Per sweep bullet 1. Per sweep bullet 1, paying 1 resource per entered space with any guerrilla with government troops with the most excess of control. I would imagine this is the most excess of control now. Maybe up here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 to 2 is 6. Yeah, so probably up here actually. This has a lot of pieces, but it also has a lot of insurgent pieces. It's got to be here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. There's no bad guys there. So from here, they're going to move a troop per bullet point 1. 1 space to 1 space. Okay, yeah, per sweep bullet 1. Up to 4 troops or more if needed to add coin control to the highest 1 pop space. You know, that's another thing. It just says up to 4 troops and then or more if needed. That means you don't necessarily need to do all 4 unless you can. So like here, did we need to put all 4 in there? I think we did. But like what we're talking about here, it would only be 2 because that's the most they can do troops wise from that location. And it's up to 4. And so they want to do this in the highest 1+ pop space with no coin control. And I think a lot of them are onesie twosies. And really it's just like here, 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 here. And then up there, but it won't establish coin control up there. So 1, 2, 3, 4 possible locations. Let's just do around the horn here. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and then we'll re-roll anything else. 2. So 1, 2, they're going to transport them up here, get coin control, get a point, and they're creeping back up closer to the win. I am just going to take this moment to pause and make sure that I understand the language about how many troops, because I might have messed that up. So hold on one sec. Okay, I did want to change one thing really quick, but there's a couple things I'm not going to change. Sweep such that no coin control is lost. Okay, to get up to 4 troops, more if needed, to add coin control. We already knew this. This is what it says. Take them evenly from random sources, but within that, select the target space to which the lowest cost sweep is possible, paying the warlords 1 resource per space entered. So, and we may well be sweeping into spaces that contain no enemies, as such was this. Now, the lowest amount possible would have not had us pay to go along this. This would have stayed there. We took from these evenly, and we took this one twice versus this one only once. So I think this would actually come from this spot because we got 4 up there. Yes, I know it's randomly from sources, but within that, it's to prioritize the lowest cost. So I think we would have not paid the resource to go from here, and we would have paid the resource to go from there. Yeah. However, I think we did this part correctly. It's just you do up to 4. You do as many as you can up to 4, and then if more is required and you're capable of doing that, you would do more. So I think this is fine, and we'll get our resource, or the government gets their resource back. That's just all I wanted to do about that. Okay, I think that's pretty solid for their transport. Now, we didn't actually look at the transport thing here, but it's just move a group of troops along a chain of locks, then into an adjacent space. Oh, we needed to... Yeah, that's fine. The chain of locks thing. I thought it was just like a airlift where you could just go from anywhere to anywhere. Stop at sabotage, pay per space entered. We went from down here, we went along this chain of locks and up into there. So we actually couldn't have gone into there, and then this would have been more expensive. So we did the right thing. It just, we got there the wrong way. Right answer, wrong method. Okay. In any case, that was the operation and special activity for the government. And now the warlords are up next, and they can still play the event if necessary, or if it would benefit them. So not a capability or momentum. They're going to play the shaded part if it would increase uncontrolled pop or warlord resources, or place guerrillas on locks or warlord bases. This sets something to opposition and places terror there. So I don't think that falls into any of those categories. They are not at 0 resources, so they will continue along the flowchart. Would a rally replace guerrillas with bases? That's a good question. Are they in any spot? The only spots where there's available bases locations are like up here and over here, but they don't have enough. Oh no, up here is not a spot. It's got a base. It's just not in the hole. So just there, and they don't have enough guerrillas to manifest that. So no. One sec. Sorry about that. My wife was calling me. So, players not at a positive victory margin. Terror would reduce player victory points, or could reduce, I guess. I don't think. Well, actually, maybe. Let's see. Terror could reduce player victory points. So it's in underground spaces with underground warlord guerrillas. That's the only requirement. So are there any that are at support with underground warlord guerrillas? Yes. Kabul is a spot that would meet that requirement. That's the only spot that has support on the map because we're doing a terrible job at playing this game. So yes, a terror could, because it will add a terror marker and set any support or opposition to neutral in Kabul. And so setting it to neutral from support would reduce our victory points because we're contingent on support. So they do, this is a yes. Maximum of 3 spaces shifting to neutral without exposing the last blah blah blah, which they can still do. They're going to reduce the player's victory points at the highest population. So, and it costs them one resource per province or Kabul. So up here they're going to do it. They're not exposing their last guerrilla. They're going to take away this support, and that is a whopping four victory points that we're going to miss out on. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, and then they add a terror marker. Yes, of course. I know I saw some in the wrong bowl, so let me get it out of there. Okay. Added the terror marker. Then they're going to, in one space for the greatest shift. Oh, I think they still want to do this to the fullest extent. So, can they further reduce player victory? No. Actually, there is another spot with support. It's there, but they don't have any warlord people there. So they can't further minimize or reduce our victory points. So the greatest shift is going to just one space for the greatest shift. I think the greatest shift is still only one space. So the greatest shift, because it's basically saying, I think, highest population. It's the greatest shift in population, which, okay, so they've already gone here. They could do it here for 3. They could do it, they can't do it here because this would expose their last one. Oh, they don't have any underground here either. Last one at a base, last one at a base, last one at a base. They aren't going to do it anywhere else then. They could sabotage a line of communication, but it doesn't say to do that. Yeah, I think then that's it. They're going to reduce the player's victory points, which they've done, and then in one space for the greatest shift of like population, support or opposition, which they can't do anywhere. So they just did it in the one spot. It'll cost them 1 resource to do it because it was in a province, or it was in Kabul. Then they are going to Suborn in up to 3 spaces. Don't spend resources such that falling below 41. Well, they're already below 41, so they're not going to fall below 41. Reduce up to 4 player victory points. Remove any control at 1 highest population in Afghanistan. Okay, so Suborn again. You can pay 2 resources to remove government cubes, a government base, or 1 Taliban guerrilla, or to flip all guerrillas there underground. Okay, well, they're not going to reduce any victory points that way because removing government cubes doesn't hurt us at all. So that's not in any space. Okay, and then to remove any control of at least 1 highest, or at 1, remove any control at 1 highest possible population in Afghanistan. So, let's see. Let's look at the big ones first. I think up here they could do it to remove control. That's a 3. Up here, if they removed like 3 cubes, it would be 5 to, yeah, that won't give them control. And that's a 2. So I think here, if they removed 3 government cubes, then there would only be 3 coin pieces there. So pay 2 resources to remove 1 to 3 government cubes, which is what they're going to do. They want to remove a base, but they can't because there's no base there. Or remove 1 Taliban guerrilla, or to flip any and all guerrillas there underground. So they could actually do it to flip their guerrillas underground, but it doesn't say to do that. They want to remove control at the highest possible spot. So here, they're going to get rid of, and I believe they do this evenly. 1, 2, 3. Removed. That gets the coin control removed. Oh no! And that's 1, 2, 3 points gone. Oh, and 1, 2, 3 points for the warlords. I'm sure they have more points than that. Actually, I'm not so sure. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. You might even have less points than that. Maybe. Anyway, it's about that. I'll check it off camera when it becomes important. So that was their Suborn, just in the one spot. Because this is just at one spot. Yeah, and that was their turn. So then we will adjust our eligibility, and our next card is going to be the Poppy Crop failure, and the Taliban are going to get to go first again. And after that, we have desertions and defections. So we're going to tackle those cards next time. Still no propaganda card coming up, but it's got to be soon. Anyway, this has been A Distant Plane. Hopefully it's enjoyable. As always, do continue to point out little mistakes as I make them, so I can hopefully remember them in the future. Been a pleasure. Bye.